Now, for more, we're joined by Commissioner for Land, Right to Food and Environment from the Human Rights Commission, JB Sibanyoni. Mr. Sibanyoni, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, Nati, and thank you for inviting me.
Perhaps let's start here, JB. I mean, I am expecting to go to the water treatment plant there in Tshwane tomorrow, but we are expecting a report from you about that situation in Tshwane. Is the situation in Hammanskraal and the surrounding areas, because we hear about other areas too, is that situation a water crisis? And if so, why isn't it being treated as such?
Absolutely, it is a crisis because water and sanitation facilities are in a crisis in South Africa. And I must also hesitate to say one looks at it, it is on a brink of collapse. And then you find that most of the municipalities are in chaos. And to answer you specifically, why the situation is not rectified, or why is the situation not treated, there are many reasons that are brought forward. Some of them is the aging infrastructure, and then other reasons are that there is a violent destruction of property, and also some theft of cables that have got a very negative effect on the water treatment plants.
So you recently conducted, your oversight visit there. You were flanked by the Tshwane mayor as well as the MMC. What was discussed, and what have you concluded during that fact-finding mission that you recently went on to last month? I know you are releasing this report, but perhaps tell us what was talked, what was said during this meeting when you were there last month.
Because we were responding to say in 2018 we had an inspection into the Temba Water Treatment Plant, and then thereafter we insisted that we need to have a sample of the water tested in response to the complaints that we were receiving from the residents that are being supplied by the water from the Hammanskraal and also other surrounding areas. And then we thought it correct to say, taking the process forward, we need to write a report. We did write that report as the South African Human Rights Commission, and we submitted, or we sent it to all the stakeholders and expected their comments or their inputs to it. And we have not received any. Therefore, we have taken it upon ourselves that the South African Human Rights Commission, come the 26th of this month, October, we are going to be formally launching the report, and we will speak specifically as to what findings we have made, as well as the recommendations or the directives that we will issue. And those directives will have to monitor that they are implemented, because if they are not implemented, we will utilize our legislation, the South African Human Rights Act number 40 of 2013, and the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa Act, because these are our instruments that give us the powers to ensure that the rights of the people, mostly the poor people, that those rights are not violated.
JB, now this situation has been ongoing for many years, some dating it to 2013. I hear you going to be releasing that report, also threatening that you will take matters into your own hands in terms of directives and recommendations, etc. Will they include sanctions? And I'm asking you this because in 2018, the Gauteng Premier David Makhura and the then Tshwane Mayor Solly Msimango were there, and they promised the people of Tshwane that by 2019 in January, that the issue, especially that plant would have been resolved and that people were promised safe drinking water. And to date, people are saying that that water is not drinkable, it's not safe. You yourself were there, you saw the problems there. Will we see people actually being arrested? I mean, we're heading to the elections now. Who knows if those problems will not be resolved by then until a new administration comes in?
No, we'll not rush to taking legal steps, in other words, litigating around this, because our enabling legislation empowers us to say before we can take the drastic, like a summons, in terms of which we will summon the stakeholders, and then to ensure that if after we have issued the directives, that those directives are not implemented, then we will be able to say the last resort will be to take the matter to court, in other words, to litigate. So there is a process that we always follow, starting by the notices that we issue, followed by the inquiry that we've held, and coming with the report and issuing the report with the recommendations or the directives. And then if that is not responded to, then we resort to the drastic legal steps.
Well, I certainly hope so. JB, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much to your viewers. We promise the people of Tshwane that as the Human Rights Commission, we will utilize our powers and functions without fear and favor.
All right. Thank you so much, JB Sibanyoni there from the Human Rights Commission. Of course, SA Today will be heading to Tshwane tomorrow, and specifically be headed to Hammanskraal, where we will look at the situation on the ground, and we're speaking to some community members as well as those that are supposedly in charge of that treatment and water plant in the area. All right. Well, we'll continue with more of your news at the top of the hour. This is SA Today. Stay with us.